This is your recap for Unit 4. In Unit 4, we're going to consider the presidencies of the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, and the beginning of the 1990s, and then we're also going to look at war powers. So beginning with Chapter 11 of Milkus and Nelson, they start with the personal presidency. They look at television and John F. Kennedy, and then that's followed by LBJ and the highs and lows of his presidency. Then that's followed by Richard Nixon, and of course his presidency ends with Watergate and the post-Watergate presidencies of Gerald Ford and Jimmy Carter. So that covers the 1960s through the end of the 1970s. In Chapter 12, we read about a 12-year span of Republicans in the White House, beginning with 2 terms of Ronald Reagan and followed by a term of George H.W. Bush, his vice president who got elected president after Reagan was done. And Reagan, as you probably know, was the subject of our discussion question this week. He's still an enormously popular figure in American politics. Commentators today will still ask, well, what would Reagan do? Kind of a play on what would Jesus do. Enormously influential. Some people think of him as kind of the FDR of the right. And if you've never seen a speech by Ronald Reagan, as soon as this video is over, you should go and watch his Challenger speech on YouTube. I think Reagan is probably, along with Bill Clinton, one of the most effective speakers on television that you'll ever see. And so do yourself a favor and check out that speech. And watch something by Bill Clinton as well. 2 really talented speakers. So from there, we go into Ellis and Nelson, and in this chapter, Nancy Cassup and Richard Pius are debating over presidential war power. And like a lot of debates over war power, they begin with the language of the Constitution. So the Constitution gives the president the responsibility to be commander-in-chief, and it gives Congress the responsibility to declare war, it has the power of the purse, and so forth. And so that's sort of the baseline for their argument about war power, and they cover some of the more important issues that have come up in war power in the past several decades especially. So that's your recap for Unit 4. I will be in touch very shortly about specifics regarding the midterm exam. Have a good week.